I remember feeling a bit confused as a child often, and especially because I felt like I was getting messages from the grown-ups, and then what I was hearing from them was not the same as what I was feeling from them, and that's been something that stuck with me um, later in life as well. But at some point, I forgot, and I just adjusted to what was being said to me, and I started living a life in line with what I feel was in a way expected, or at least what I thought had been expected. And at some point in my 20s, I got to a point where um, I reached a point where it was like a crisis. And I remember sitting in the tram in Zurich and wondering why I couldn't relate or be like all these people that were in the tram going to work and seemed to kind of wanted to go on with their life. I kind of felt like there was no point in doing, the job I was doing, and no point in life really. Um, and that sparked a deeper search where I kind of started to try and find that meaning again and find that desire to contribute in life, but also the desire to live. In a way, for me, these two things were very interlinked because on some level, I had always felt other people's pain, and I wanted to find a way to serve, to benefit the people around me that would be sustainable. And so I went, like I did the classical thing. I went off to India, and I was an engineer, trained as an engineer, had done different jobs in the corporate world. And in India, I used those skills to work with fair trade farmers. And I realized there that although I could, help them structure their business and sell their spices and coffee in a different way, it wasn't really making the difference I thought it would. Because they were already quite happy. So I was living a very rural, very simple lifestyle, and I realized how much joy there was in that. So it really led me to the conclusion that the joy I was seeking and the service I was seeking was to help people reconnect to something which is more related to their inner climate, their inner level of peace. So to help them transform, in a way, psychological pain, which I find is something that is so prevalent. So I came back from India, and I really had another set of lenses. It sparked a journey myself where I felt I needed to do my own healing. So I explored loads of different traditions and methods of healing, and the ones that I felt worked for me, I started practicing as a practitioner. So I trained in loads of different traditions. Ultimately, I ended up finding a very ancient lineage, which is called the Mystery School. And that experience really brought me to a completely different place. It brought together all the different traditions that I had found beneficial in a very structured way, and that structure was very, very powerful. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, and using the tools from this ancient mystery school to serve others today in developing more inner peace, but also in a way, as a result, affecting their environment positively. It's a very life-changing adventure. It's a bit like when you take, in that movie, The Matrix, you take that pill and then you go down, a completely different route. And from that moment on, you can see the world with completely different eyes. And it's magical and very powerful at the same time. And on some level, I feel we're all kind of yearning to get back to the true reality, which is underneath everything. So I love seeing when that happens for people, and when they come and see me, if they leave after the session in a slightly better way, and often they do, I just love seeing the benefits from that and what happens in their lives. So after all that journey, for me, really, what I realized was the meaning was that I want to progress. I want to keep learning more about myself and becoming better than the person I was the day before, but also to help others to progress and hold even more light, even more peace in themselves, in their life. That's a big part of what I feel I'm here to do. And at the same time, it's also about living with joy in everything I do, and helping others live out of joy. And the joy I'm talking about here is not the joy that we get from, it can be from getting an ice cream, but it's more of an unconditional joy, a state of joy that can be with us no matter what is around. And, getting to that place I find is very meaningful, and getting others to that place.